Well, it's time now for Focus 50 Plus. Dr. George Schofield joins us today, and today we are talking about the importance of not waiting.
That's right, and not putting things off.
Okay, that's what, yeah.
We're all really well intended, and there are things that we plan to do, but somehow they get lost in the shuffle. And this is not only about not waiting, it's about not having regrets later.
Right. So now what is bringing this up? Why are we kind of talking about
So
this
I've had
today?
3 different experiences this week. One of which was a grandparent came to me and said, I never spent the time with my grandchild, and now he's at an age where he's a teenager and he doesn't want to come anymore.
Right.
What do I do? Second, my wife and I had, over the weekend, we had guests, someone that I went to high school with a few decades ago that I hadn't seen for decades. And we had a wonderful time, and it wasn't about talking just about old stuff. We really enjoyed these people, and as they were leaving, he said to me, you know, we need to do this a little more often than every X number of years. And the third thing that came up was that a gentleman came to me and said, I promised my wife that we would take a trip, and now she's been diagnosed with something very unpleasant. What do I do about that? So it inspired me to come and talk about this today.
We are so, I mean, and yeah, it seems like, you know, you think about this after the fact, like, why haven't I done that? Why, you know,
Right.
whatnot. But we're all so busy. How do we get this done? How do we do this?
Well, I think we're Americans, and Americans love to be busy.
That's true.
But I think we confuse busy with effective and strategic. So I know that I have retired people who come to me and say, I'm not busy enough, I've got to get going, I've got to do something. You know what? It's time to do 3 things. Set some priorities. Who's important in your life? Get it on the calendar, make the commitment, and do it so that you don't end up having regrets later. And it was only because of these 3 very prominent and slightly tragic stories that, at least for the man and his wife, that I thought, I think we better come and talk about this, because I'll bet that we're not the only ones having this experience.
Not at all. So, but prioritize, does it matter? I mean, it just, whatever is important
It's a
to you.
very individual
Right.
decision. I think the thing to do is first sit down and figure out what's important to you that you haven't been doing. Second of all, build a plan for each of these. Third of all, actually begin to execute it. So, for instance, I want to make sure that my granddaughters keep coming back every summer for July with us, because the oldest one's going to be 16, and I know that Laura's going to, at some point, say, you know, I need out of this. So I'm in the process of creating dates now in March and getting the airplane tickets, because I'll go to California and pick them up and fly back with them. So this on the calendar, and the initial investment is made. I think that's the way to make it happen.
Wow, it's really important stuff here, and it's brought, you know, I think about this often, but it brought you to bring this to my attention again, to really focus.
Right.
And I think that people need just
Right.
to, again, kind of prioritize and focus this. And
Right.
also, always, as always, wonderful advice.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to see you.
And you too.
So I'll see you next week.
Of course.
Great.
All right. Well, thank you again so much. And
Thank you.
Look forward to hearing more next week.
Yes.
And we'll be back in a minute with more news, so stick around.